Have you ever noticed that when a relationship ends, the worst part is not just missing the other person? The worst part, the part that actually keeps you awake staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, is looking in the mirror and not recognizing the person staring back at you. You feel hollow, right? Like someone turned off the lights in a room you used to know by heart, a room you lived in for years. You wander around your own life bumping into furniture, feeling like a stranger in your own skin. Sit down for a minute and let us talk about this. I know it hurts. I know it feels like the oxygen has been sucked out of the room, but I want to tell you a secret that might change the way you see this pain. You are not just mourning the loss of a partner. You are attending a funeral for a version of yourself. People who have never felt this depth of heartbreak will try to offer you comfortable little cliches. They will pat you on the back and say that time heals all wounds, that there are plenty of fish in the sea, and that you just need to keep yourself busy. Hit the gym, they say. Focus on work. But that advice feels completely empty right now, does it not? It feels empty because they are treating your breakup like a simple inconvenience, like you just lost a wallet or failed a test. But what you are going through is much deeper than that. It is profoundly psychological, and even more than that, it is existential. Understanding the actual mechanics of this pain, the architecture of your grief, is the very first step to surviving it. And I promise you, you will survive this. To really understand what is happening inside your head and your heart right now, we have to look at a French philosopher named Jean-Paul Sartre. Sartre spent a lot of time thinking about existence, freedom, and how we relate to other human beings. He developed a fascinating concept called the look. Imagine you are doing something slightly ridiculous when you are completely alone. Maybe you are dancing terribly in the kitchen, or making weird faces in the mirror. You are just being. You are completely absorbed in your own world. But the exact moment someone walks into the room and looks at you, everything shifts. Suddenly, you become aware of yourself from the outside. You see yourself through their eyes. You become an object in their reality. In a romantic relationship, this phenomenon happens on a massive, beautiful, and complicated scale. Over the course of months or years, you construct an entire identity based on how your partner sees you. You become the person reflected in their gaze. You are the funny one who makes them laugh when they are stressed. You are the protector, the caring listener, the partner in crime, the one who shares the inside jokes that nobody else understands. Their gaze acts like a permanent, warm mirror that constantly reflects a very specific, polished version of you back to yourself. And over time, you learn to love that version of yourself. You get comfortable in that skin. It feels safe. It feels like home. So, what happens when they leave? The mirror breaks. It shatters into 1,000 pieces. And the specific version of you that lived exclusively inside their gaze dies instantly. That is a little death. You are not just crying because they are gone. You are crying because the you that existed with them is gone too. You are mourning yourself. That is why you feel so incredibly lost. The map you were using to navigate your own identity, your own value, just burned to ashes. You have been evicted from the reality you built together, and now you are standing out in the cold. This brings us to another brilliant thinker, Martin Heidegger. Heidegger talked deeply about anxiety and what he called the encounter with nothingness. When the relationship ends and that mirrored version of you dies, what is left behind? A void, an empty, echoing space. Suddenly, your cozy weekend routines, your good morning texts, your plans for the holidays next year, they all vanish into thin air. You are standing face to face with the absolute unknown. And honestly, that is terrifying. It is supposed to be terrifying. Heidegger believed that most of the time we live in a state of distraction. We avoid facing the heavy reality of our own individual existence. We just go along with the crowd doing what is expected, falling into comfortable, predictable routines. He called this falling into the they. In a romantic relationship, it is incredibly easy to fall into the we. Think about how often you use that word. We always go to this restaurant on Fridays. We are saving for a house. We do not like that movie, but when the we is violently shattered, you are forcefully pushed into the nothingness. However, Heidegger did not think this nothingness was a tragedy. In fact, he thought it was the only real way to wake up. This painful encounter with the void strips away all the comfortable illusions and daily distractions. It forces you to stop hiding behind another person. It forces you to ask the hardest, most important question of your entire life. Who am I really, when nobody else is looking? This agonizing pain you are feeling right now in your chest? That is the price of admission to an authentic life. You are being forced to choose your own path, not a shared compromise, but your own raw, unfiltered path. Now, I want to step away from philosophy for a second and ground this in modern science, because I need you to understand that what your physical brain is doing right now is completely natural. You are not crazy, and you are not weak. When you fall deeply in love, your brain floods with neurochemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. These are the powerful chemicals of reward, pleasure, and deep bonding. Your brain literally rewires itself to become addicted to the presence, the touch, the smell, and the attention of your partner. They become your primary source of chemical comfort. When the breakup happens, that critical supply is cut off cold turkey. The neurochemistry of a severe heartbreak is nearly identical to the physical withdrawal symptoms of a drug addict. Scientists have put people going through fresh, painful breakups into functional magnetic resonance imaging machines. Do you know what they found? The scans show massive activation in the exact same regions of the brain that process physical, bodily trauma. So when you cry and say your heart physically hurts, you are not being overly dramatic or poetic. Your brain is actually processing this emotional loss as physical damage. You are quite literally going through a severe chemical withdrawal while simultaneously navigating a massive existential crisis. So, please, give yourself some grace. You are fighting a brutal war on two fronts, biology and philosophy. It is exhausting. It is okay if you cannot get out of bed some days. It is okay if your chest feels tight. But we cannot stay in bed forever. So where do we go from here? How do you actually survive the little death and navigate this terrifying nothingness? As your friend, as an older brother who wants to see you stand up and win, I have to give it to you straight. You cannot run away from the void. If you try to immediately fill this empty space with a meaningless rebound relationship, with alcohol, with endless scrolling on your phone, or by working yourself into the ground, you are just hitting the snooze button on your own growth. You are applying a cheap bandage to a deep, philosophical wound. You are delaying the inevitable. At some point, you have to sit quietly in a room with yourself and face the silence. The first step in this process is that you need to actively grieve the person you used to be. It is perfectly okay to look back at the beautiful memories and feel a deep sadness that the version of you who existed in those bright moments is gone. Do not run from that sadness. Let yourself feel it. Maybe you need to sit down and actually write a letter to that past self. Thank them for the good times, for the lessons, for the love they gave, and then gently, firmly say goodbye. Recognize that they served a vital purpose in that specific chapter of your life, but their time is over. The chapter is closed. The second step is where the real work begins. You have to start reclaiming your physical and mental space. This is about building a completely new mirror. Since the mirror of your partner's gaze is broken on the floor, you need to create a new reflection through your own deliberate actions. This is the real reason why people tell you to go to the gym, pick up a new hobby, or travel alone. But listen to me carefully. Do not do these things just to distract yourself, or to post pictures so your ex can see how great you are doing. That is a trap. Do these things to prove to yourself that you exist independently of anyone else. Go to your favorite restaurant alone, order your favorite meal, and realize that the food still tastes amazing without them sitting across the table. Pick up that ambitious project you abandoned because your partner did not care about it or thought it was silly. Reconnect with the friends you lost touch with because you were too wrapped up in the relationship. Every single time you make a choice entirely for yourself, based on your own genuine desires, you are laying a solid brick in the foundation of your new, authentic identity. You are generating your own light instead of relying on someone else to shine it on. The third step is perhaps the hardest, but it is the most beautiful. You must embrace the anxiety of the blank canvas. Remember Heidegger's Nothingness? It is terrifying because it is so incredibly empty. But emptiness also means absolute, unrestricted freedom. There is no longer a compromise holding you back. You do not have to negotiate your wild dreams, your daily schedule, or your core values with anyone else right now. You have the ultimate privilege, a privilege many people never get, of redesigning your life from the absolute ground up. Ask yourself the hard questions. Who do you want to be? Not who they wanted you to be. Not who you thought you had to be to keep the peace and keep them happy. Who are you, at your absolute core, when all the noise fades away? What are the things that actually make your soul catch fire? Now is the time to chase those things with a relentless passion. I know it is hard to see the light when you are deep in the muddy trenches of heartbreak. I know the nights are long. There will be random Tuesday afternoons when the sudden memory of their laugh, or a specific song playing in a store, knocks the wind right out of your lungs. When that happens, let it happen. Do not fight it. Feel the pain deeply. Let it wash over you like a heavy, cold wave, and then let it recede back into the ocean. Do not fight the grief, but do not let it define the entire trajectory of your future either. I want you to remember a simple biological fact. Every single cell in your human body replaces itself over a period of time. You are literally physically designed by nature to heal, to regenerate, and to become someone completely new. You are a self-healing organism. The pain you feel today will not be the pain you feel next month or next year. The little death you experienced is not the end of your story. Far from it. In nature, a devastating forest fire burns down the old dead wood, turning everything to black ash. It looks like the end of the world. But that exact same ash becomes the rich, necessary fertilizer for new, stronger, taller trees to grow. This painful breakup is your fire. It is forcefully clearing the dead brush. It is burning away the dependencies, the weak illusions, and the comfortable, lazy routines that were keeping you small and preventing you from growing. You are going to be okay. Actually, you are going to be so much better than okay. You are going to be authentic. You are going to be incredibly strong. You are going to know yourself in a deep, profound way that you never ever could have if this comfortable relationship had just continued on autopilot. The mirror is broken, my friend. The old reflection is gone. But you do not need a mirror to know that your heart is still beating. You do not need their gaze to validate your existence. You just need to take one small step forward into the unknown and start actually living for yourself. Keep your head up. Take a slow, deep breath. Focus on today. Just survive and build today. Tomorrow will handle itself when it gets here. I believe in you, and I am genuinely proud of the raw courage it takes just to wake up, get out of bed, and face the world when you are carrying this much weight. You have got this. Now, go rebuild yourself.